Vanakkam Makle. Welcome back to another episode of the r/Kollywood podcast. First up, Happy New Year, happy and healthy New Year to everyone listening. Thanks if you stuck around with us since our past few episodes. Thanks for making it with us into the new year, and we're sure to bring you great content going ahead. And it's that time of the year where everyone also picks up fires up their letterboxd account that's been gathering dust and just kind of takes a look at the movies in store that either other people have curated and kind of hyping themselves up for, okay, I'm going to watch this movie, I'm going to catch this in theaters. This I might skip an OTT. And yeah, they just generally take a bird's eye view of the year ahead. And that's exactly what this podcast episode is going to be about. We're just going to talk about 2025, what movies we're looking forward to, what movies we think might surprise us, and everything else in between. As always, a very good podcast crew with me. I have Dart, who is one of the legends of our podcast. I have Siege, who's also another legend of our podcast, and we're excited to be discussing this. Dart, do you want to start things off?
Yeah, talking of legends, legend Sundar C is back, right?
Yes,
We were,
Who would have thought? Who would have?
comeback of the freaking millennium, bro. I'm telling you.
so yeah, happy New Year, guys. We are on our seventh podcast. Yeah, we are on number seven of our
Yeah.
podcast. So yeah, really
Number seven.
excited. Yeah,
Tala for a reason, guys. Tala for a reason. Yeah.
we have come a long way. Really happy to start 2025 with you guys and discuss what I've like most of the years. The highest point of my that year is like a Tamil movie that I've been waiting for a very long time. Like last year, that was Summer, and the year before that was Leo. So this year, I think I'll talk about that a little bit when we are getting there. Of course, kind of everybody should be easily be able to predict the answer, but I'm really excited to talk about my one movie for the day. Yeah, Siege.
Happy New Year to everyone. I hope everyone had a good Christmas and New Year break, wherever you are in the world. 2024 was a very interesting year, I think, for Tamil cinema. We all felt that this was a year of transition. And I think 2025 is the year where my hope and my faith, in some sense, is that a lot of the big movies that are slated to release will really hit it out of the park. And they're not conventional masala films as such, at least the ones that we are thinking about. And also looking forward to some different projects from Kollywood this year. Really excited to be with you all to discuss that today.
Okay, before we start the podcast, I have a quick question for both of you. So this year something is happening which hasn't happened in a very long time, which is that
Mm-hmm.
a Rajni movie, a Kamal movie, a Vijay movie, and a Ajit movie are releasing together. When was the
Mm-hmm.
last time something like this happened?
Um, Not that I can remember.
Was
Was
it
it
the year where you
2050?
had Jilla Veeram on the time?
இது
Tane?
bro. இது 2015 la we had Ajit's two movies. We had Puli from Vijay. We had Tunga Nagaram from this thing Kamal. And was there a Rajni movie in 2015?
No,
Was there? No, la?
no.
No, no, not that year
Kabali was
then. Yeah,
16. Kabali was
Kavali was
16.
16. Yeah,
No,
people
no.
are looking forward to that.
Yeah, Kabali
16
was
now,
16. Yeah,
bro.
Kabali was 16.
16 and
16,
Kala
16,
was
16.
18. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Correct,
So
correct.
not that year. That year came very close though.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
came close.
in a way. Yeah, I don't think there's another year quite like it.
I think I found it. It was the year of Chandramukhi, so
Oh,
2004 or
right.
2005.
Yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
year.
Good.
The
Yeah.
answer is 2010. Asal, Sura, Indiran,
Ah,
and Manmada Ambar.
people kind of forget Asal and Ajit's filmography. I
True,
mean, for reasons
true.
best known to the audience, but yeah. But I guess, yeah, statistically, scientifically, you are correct.
So
Yeah.
yeah, 2025 I feel is gonna be a really big year for Kollywood with lot of really big things happening. Like I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
we'll talk about it. I'm really excited. This is gonna be like I keep bringing this back. COVID did stop the film industry a little bit, and we are like pumping back
Mhm.
ourselves back up. And I think 2025 is like back to normal, totally back to normal ஒரு லெவலுக்கு வந்துட்டோம்னு நினைக்கிறேன்.
Yeah, yeah. அது ஒரு மாதிரி ஒரு ஃபேஸ் ஷிஃப்ட்டும் கூட ப்ரோ லைக் இஃப் யூ திங்க்
அதுவும்
அபவுட்
வந்து
இட் இட்ஸ் Yeah, like Siege Bro mentioned. Yeah. Speaking of which, yeah, we just today, as of the date of recording this podcast, was the day we realized that Madhagaja Raja is gonna be releasing for Pongal after 12 long years. And that has kind of shifted the equation quite a bit. So, which we'll get into that in the podcast. But yeah, like you mentioned, who would have thought? So many things changing, so
Who would
many
have thought?
movers and shakers in the industry making their moves.
So here's a question that will make us all feel a bit old, I guess. When
Mhm.
Madhagacha Raja was, I think, supposed to release on what, 2012, 2013. What were you guys doing back
2012.
then? 2012 or
Oh God.
2013?
Oh my
I was
God.
I was
That is
looking at
one trip.
Madhvajara posters on Mount Road every single day. That was what I was doing.
I was probably looking at the same posters and thinking, okay, Sundar C, Vishal, interesting. Oh God, I am not the same
Now,
person I was back then, that's for sure. But
I
yeah,
kind of feel I'm still the same
I
person.
think that's all of us.
the cinephile in me is the same. I mean, I still look at movie posters with the same level of awe and like wonderment if I see like, okay, that's a really creative poster. But so much has changed. The world around us has changed, and it's changed us. In terms of our outlook. COVID happened. Like we've really lived a life if you think about it. And this is getting a little philosophical, but which is not uncharacteristic for a Sundar C movie in its comedy. But yeah.
But I think that's the thing with Sundar Si movies, right? Maybe it's like it is good for any time. I guess I don't know about the political correctness which the movie is gonna deal with, but it's not
Oh
like
yeah. Can
I
you
don't think he cares
imagine?
about
Yeah,
it.
like it's a product of its time. See, I'm usually though I don't engage with it.
Exactly.
Interested about the internet debate. This movie is gonna cause like, bro, this is comedy from its time. You should have learn to appreciate it. You Gen Zers can't appreciate Sundar C.
Exactly.
They'll start.
Who would have thought that a Sundasi film is going to be the
Uh-huh.
epitome of the zeitgeist? யார் நினைச்சு பார்த்திருப்பாங்க?
Bro, like because this movie was supposed to release before Gen Alpha was a thing, and now we're in Gen Beta. Like for people who are wondering, kids who are born starting from this year will be part of Gen Beta. So yeah, that's how much time has passed. An entire generation has sort of lived between this time gap.
Yeah, Sundar Si is for everyone, even for Gen Beta.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, sure. They learn the hard way. Like உட்காந்து இதை பாடுறா கோகோ மெலன்லாம் பார்க்காதடா இதை பாடுறா உட்காந்து கைப்புள்ள காமெடி பாடுறான்னு சொல்லிட்டு உட்காந்து வச்சிடணும். So on that note, should we start? Should we start listing our our most expected movies
Yes,
for 2025?
let's
Like right out the gate, because elephant in the room, let's get it out there.
let's.
So yeah, Dad bro, you want to go first? You sounded pretty pumped.
Of
So
course, I know what my
yeah,
movie is. I mean, I honestly, if I look at
I
the
think
list,
I have a sense too.
if I
Yeah.
see the list, there are so many movies that I'm really excited for. But of course, the top of the list is Talabadi 69.
Oh
Um,
yeah, of course. Passing the torch, literally.
exactly.
Yeah.
So it is going to be a big moment in Tamil cinemas. Let's call it history.
Yeah. Lore.
It is going to be a huge
Yeah, yeah.
moment. Uh,
It's
People do talk about that he
yeah.
will come back and all that, but for me, I'm like, what if he doesn't? Like,
For
what
the
if he
time.
doesn't? Like, I can't miss this moment because you are saying that he will come back.
True, man.
Let
True.
me live
Yeah,
this
yeah.
moment for myself. So for all this I've lived through, like even before he
True.
announced this, right? Like Leo padam pagrappo and all. Like when I was writing reviews, I was already recapturing his entire filmography or something. I don't know. Maybe I was the one who pushed him out. I feel so bad about it, but yeah, I the first day first show of a Vijay movie for one last time. That excitement for one last time, it is kind of making me anxious and nervous, honestly, which is not a good feeling. But I think all good things have to come to an end, and I this is gonna
I
be my
think
this is
the
gonna be my moment of 2025 pretty easily.
if you look at Tamil cinema's history, right, and you look at the great heroes or stars who came before Vijay, I think they never really got a great send off in some sense, right? MJR see, Rajini is still
True.
acting. We
True.
don't know what his last film will be, so maybe what I'm saying will change. But if you take a look at MKT, he went out with a whimper. Shivaji, when he
Yeah.
transitioned to character roles. MGR was different. He
Actors,
went into politics. அதுக்கப்புறம்
yeah,
ஒரே ஒரு படம் பண்ணாரு. அதுவும் சரியா போல.
ஆமா.
மதுரை மீட்ட சுந்தர பாண்டி நினைக்கிறேன் படம் பேரு.
ம்,
அதுவும்
ம்,
சரியா
ம்,
போல.
ம்,
Whereas
ம்.
Vijay has a chance, even if the film is irrespective of the quality of the film. Let's leave that aside for a second. He will go out with the bang. I mean, everybody and their child is going to come and watch this film. Let's be honest, right? It's going to be a celebration. It's going to really, really capture the nation's imagination. At the same time, it
Yeah,
will be
bro.
nostalgic and it will be a bit sad when the last shot of Vijay comes, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's
Maybe he
going to
comes
be a
back in the
pop culture
future. Maybe
moment
he does then,
for
but
sure.
இப்பே
exactly,
அழுவ வச்சிருங்க போல இருக்குடா நீங்க.
you don't get to live to it.
You guys are gonna make me cry right now. Like
I was,
last shot,
I,
you.
ஐயோ என்னால தாங்க முடியலையே actually yeah, but building upon what she said upon the point of like actors not getting a proper send off, and I think I've heard someone say this in some interview somewhere, I could be wrong, but to paraphrase, actors in our kind of film industries don't really retire, they just die. They don't retire. I mean, like, can you think, like, since you listed out so many, they either they transition, sure, but like none of these actors really quit acting. Like, I mean, they continue acting, they take the roles that come their way, and then yeah, they kind of just either fade out of the zeitgeist or they just expire. Off the top of my head, I can't think of any other actors who's like actively retired. Male actor, I'm saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, now that we have a chance to like see this, I mean, sad as it is, to see this happen, I feel like it's a very defining moment of Tamil cinema, like Dart Bro said.
Yeah.
And another thing is like this is one of those things that we'll be telling our successive generation about, that I was here when this movie released. I saw this in this theater. And yeah, like kind of like how our parents talk about Rajini movies, you know, back in his mass hero era, right? Like I was here when Basha released, or what that released to this and those movies released, right? Like it'll be one of those moments. And I'm definitely stoked for Talapati 69. Can't wait for updates. I feel like H. Vinod has the mother of all hype beasts on his shoulders. Like imagine being H. Vinod. Like, would you be able to sleep at night knowing that there's an entire freaking state of like more populous than Greece, trying to like think, you know, having all their eyes on you to analyze your every move. Like, I mean, just for the resolve, just
That is
props to him for
one.
even wanting to try.
இல்ல I'm just saying, அவர் பாவம் அந்த துணிவு டைம்லயே ஒரு 3 மாசம் தூங்காத மாதிரி தான் இருந்தாரு. I can't imagine the pressure that
Yeah.
he will be.
Bro, that is see, and an Ajit movie is different from a Vijay movie. Like Vijay's fan base is a lot more active. Ajit fan base is like we're used to it. Like அந்த ஒரு பாட்டுல வரும்ல, கொண்டாட முடியல நாங்க தீபாவளி பொங்கல்ன்ற மாதிரி தான் எங்களுக்கு இருக்கும். Like I mean, we're just used to not getting. Tunivu released 2 years ago. Since then, we've got nothing. So we're just happy to see him on screen as it is. But Vijay's fan base is not like that. Like there are boxes to be ticked.
Yearly.
There are certain things, elements that have to be there, and you can't please everyone, but those things have to be there. So yeah, I don't know how he's going to pull it off, but I'm stoked to see a very different experience on screen, because I like H. Vinod's work. I mean, I feel like, you know, sometimes it flies under the radar, and like it's not meant for like your typical, you know, massy audience where you can just turn off your mind and watch the commercial cinema. But there is something thought provoking in all of his films. So I'm interesting to see how that's explored. Yeah.
I really wish Talapati 69 went to another director, but I think this Vijay.
Karthik Subbaraj, right? You mentioned. Yeah.
So, but I think Vijay chose what he wants at this point in his
Yeah.
life, in his career. So yeah, I mean, it's been
I mean,
an opportunity, which is not an easy opportunity to get either. So I hope he used
true,
it
true, true.
well.
So yeah, Siege Bro, what is your most expected movie of 2025? The one you're most hyped for?
எனக்கு 2 படம் இருக்கு, but because I know what you're gonna say, JK, so I'm holding off from saying that. So I'll go with
You do?
I think
Right.
this is going to be, yeah, I'll tell you why. Lokesh has his back to the wall after all the criticism that was directed towards him and Leo, right? Even though the film was a massive success, Rajni has had a sort of average movie in Veteran. I have a feeling that both of them have that fire in their belly to deliver something good, and more so Lokesh. And I think this is an opportunity for him to go past all that, especially because he's not fettered down by the LCU baggage, right? The LCU baggage. It's a
True.
standalone film. He has
Ama.
Rajni, and he's openly said that he's going to lean into Rajni's villainism. Anything that leans into
Mm.
Tala's villainism, that's a treat to watch. The supporting cast is very
Always.
interesting, by the way. I mean,
Mm.
you have Nagarjuna, who's a equally big star in Telugu, doing a supporting role in a Tamil film, which is quite
Mm-hmm.
surprising. Upendra,
Mm.
also again, nobody expected him to come back to Tamil cinema after God knows how long. And then there's speculation that Amir Khan is also in the film. So
Mm.
I'm not saying it's going to be the most earth-shattering film of the year. It's going to be a great entertainer, and I have a feeling that people are going to come out very satisfied. And for me, watching தலைவர் do his villainism is always a treat. And I
Yeah.
really want to see a Lokesh come back so that people stop bugging him. Leo was not a bad film; it had issues, but it was not as bad as people
It's
made it
not.
out to be. And so that
Yeah.
after this, after Kohli, he will have that confidence to revisit the LCU.
With Lokesh,
Mm.
I've always felt, uh, other than for Managaram, honestly, he has struggled with second half even in Kaidi and Vikram for me, and Leo, of course. So and of course, Master Leo same second half la, the movie just like what Lokesh is capable of in the first halves of his movie. Just it is something which no other director at this point is doing. Like he peaks, his peak is really really high, and his
Mm.
second halves have been for me far away from.
They don't live up to.
Yeah,
Yeah, they don't live up to the highs they create in the first half typically.
so he's
Yeah.
not able to till now like put a proper weave around his screenplay after the intermission block, honestly. But I hope he's able to break that with Cooley and really give us a like ஒரு jailer மாதிரி அப்படியே ஒரு complete package கையில வந்து விழுந்துருச்சுன்னா like I will be so happy.
I
That
mean,
bro,
speaking of
I think
Kohli,
what you said, right?
hmm.
Sorry, JK, if I can just
சொல்லுங்க
stop.
சொல்லுங்க சொல்லுங்க சொல்லுங்க
That
சொல்லுங்க.
what you said, right? What you said is somewhat interesting because if you think about it, right, Lokesh's films are very front-loaded in terms of plot in the first half, and then the second half is essentially uh, focuses more on the action pieces. Where he gets into trouble is if he tries to go beyond the action and tries to drive the narrative from a story standpoint in the second half as well. This is what he struggled with, in my opinion, in both Leo as well as in Master. In Vikram, if you think about it, there is no real plot point after the intermission. I mean, everything is out there in the open. It's just a question of how Vikram and Amar take down Sandanam, and that's just one set piece after the other without being bogged down by the plot element. I have a feeling, or my hope rather, with Kohli is that he goes for a very similar structure. You kind of get rid of the story in the first half and then just focus on the action beats in the second half, and that will kind of take care of this problem that he's had with a few of his films.
Yeah, actually, you raised quite a few good points, Sage. Like, like you said, his movies are very front-loaded in terms of plot and world building, and his world building is pretty good. Like most of his worlds are worlds you want to explore, right?
Amazing, yeah, amazing.
But like I said, and the reason his storytelling style works the best, arguably in Vikram, is because if you think about it, Vikram really is two separate movies in each half. Like the first half is entirely about deconstructing his Karnan or aka Vikram the ghost, who he is. And then after that, the movie is different. And the tonal shift works because, I mean, we don't see Kamal at all. Like, he has no active role in the first half. He's basically dead. The second half is about how, that now that this big cliffhanger has been sprung upon us, how does the story go forward from that? In his other movies, like you said in Leo, he gets into trouble when he tries to tie it all together. He's realized that, okay, the action set pieces are there, but they can't stand on their own merit to drive the story. So, how am I going to tie this all? And kind of like feels rushed or not well earned towards the end. The interviews that he's given so far, he seems like he has a lot more creative control over the script this time round. And I don't know. I'm a bit on the fence about the casting part because Leo's cast is also pan Indian. It was also announced in a similar way. And I don't know, like I'm not skeptical, but I'm not holding my breath either
Yeah,
about okay, this is such a great thing அப்படின்ட்டு.
because
But like I said,
with in
mm,
Vidamuyarchi, I got really disappointed. Few of the, like, especially Amitabh Bachchan, you know, so Amitabh Bachchan
yeah,
Rajini or reunion, they wasted, and so I'm really excited about Shaubin and all. But like you said, like if the script is not there,
yeah, yeah.
there is nothing anybody can do.
Other than you can't just bring audience to to fill the seats by just casting big names, right? Like nowadays they want content also.
True,
Like that's why they say that that's why Pushpa 2 didn't work in Kerala. Even though they tried to push the whole Mallu Arjun angle, they were not happy. They thought Fahad Fasil casting will bring in this thing, but his character was reduced to a caricature
yeah,
basically. So obviously they didn't like. So yeah, they expect content these days, and I'm pretty sure Lokesh can pull it off if he's given time to cook. Like let him cook. And other than that, I basically, in terms of expectations for Cooley, I just wanted to be, what Vikram was to Rajini, I mean, Kamal, in terms of, the scope and how much of a success it was, and sort of, ignited a new fuel into Kamal's already very illustrious career,
true,
like another star under his belt. I want this to be like that for Rajini. I mean, you could argue Jailer is like that, but Jailer isn't really a very story driven thing. It's just the screenplay is there. I mean, the mass moments are well paced, and that's why it worked. I feel like this is an opportunity to get into the more, like was mentioned before, the villainous
yeah.
side of Rajni that we love to see.
Or
I feel like it would be perfect. Yama.
all
I
time
feel like
great,
it would be
all
perfect.
time great. Like for a movie to get into Rajini's all time great filmography, it is very hard because there are so many
Yeah.
classics in yesteryears.
This,
But I hope
yeah.
cool
So
is
versatile. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, for sure. That's why I wanted to be a success on the level of Vikram because, in a way, Vikram reintroduced Kamal to a lot of these younger audience, right? Like before that, we will say, like people in our age group probably would be like, he's aware because our parents were there to tell us about these Kamal movies that released when we were a lot younger. This generation didn't really have much of a connect with him, because he had Vishwarupam, his releases were inconsistent,
yeah,
and and I feel like Rajini has not had that problem as much, but this kind of like gives him that okay, this old dog can learn new tricks.
yeah.
They can play characters that will be well suited to all audiences and
Or
bring people
or
to
old
theaters.
old
Yeah.
tricks really done well.
So that was Coolie, and yeah, now that we've gotten those two big hitters out of the way, should I go next?
Yeah,
What my most expected movie of 2025 will be,
Madagada Raja.
and I think no, I mean that's like a honorable mention because this is see, I don't want to be influenced by recency bias, but I think my next option is also influenced by recency bias, especially after that spectacular teaser came out. It's retro, actually. I mean, there are other contenders for this title as well. Some very deserving names on this list. It's a pretty loaded lineup. But let me tell you why retro is my most expected thing. It's because how I don't know how exactly to verbalize this, but I feel like it will be the most cinematically rewarding experience. I mean, I'm an Ajit fan. Vidamuyarchi and Good Bad Ugly, I will like, but that is for a meta reason. It's because I'm an Ajit fan, and also bolstered by the reason that Ajit might not act after this. He's going into a career in racing. Madhagajaraja, it's a meta reason again. It's been 12 years. Coolie, again, we have a meta reason behind the director that Lokesh Kanagaraj is and all that. Thug Life, again, it's mostly because considering Maniratnam's filmography, this is a novel attempt for him, which we'll touch upon later. But retro, I feel like most Karthik Subbaraj movies, it will just be a cinematic delight.
Very
And I really want this to work for Surya as well because we know how capable he is.
you're
We've
making a
been
very
robbed.
you're making a great point, Jake. Like நீ சொன்ன எல்லா படமும், like we are talking about the meta. Like Karthik Subraj movies are about his characters,
Adada.
are about his places. It's about Surli. It's about
Yeah,
Mahan, you know.
it's about the movie.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter what's outside or the buzz around the movie. His movies stand on their own merit, like JDX இருக்கட்டும், Gandhi Mahana இருக்கட்டும், even the original Jigar Tandavaவே இருக்கட்டும். Like all of them are just cinematic masterpieces. Like I mean, even Jagame you could argue. It got hit pretty bad by the pandemic, but it's still a pretty well-made film
Exactly.
which had issues.
Exactly. I mean, one
Uh,
big reason for retro is, of course, Santosh Narayan's comeback with Karthik Subraj. So, I mean, it's not a comeback, but I'm just happy whenever Santosh Narayan is playing something and Karthik Subraj holds onto him really tight, unlike
yeah,
some
yeah.
names which I don't want to take.
That's all part of the cinematic bundle, right? Like the magic that we see on screen when these things. I feel like I'll walk away the most satisfied after watching retro in theater.
I mean,
And just because I watched good cinema
yeah.
அப்படின்ற ஒரு சந்தோஷத்தினால தான் வேற எதுனாலையும் இல்ல மத்ததும் இருக்கும் பட் ஐ ஃபீல் லைக் this is gonna be the runner the one that takes the cake for me so
Karthik Subraj is the
yeah
guy who loves cinema like us. So he
yeah and
he sees
I
cinema
like
like
that
me.
his movies are usually in terms of marketing also if we were to talk about that they're sold on like a one line pitch like the log line you would see on Netflix descriptions, right? Like when you pause the thing. Like Retro, for example, I think by his own account and by like the cast's own account, it's going to be what if Karthik Subbaraj made a love movie, a love centric movie. And that is an interesting genre, right? Like because like see love movies in general, like not rom-coms, but like romantic movies that deal with these themes are very rare few and far between in Tamil as it is. So like to have someone of his caliber trying to make a movie on that line, it's just gonna be a treat. It's just gonna be a treat to watch it. I just
What was the last movie where the action pieces were because the hero was fighting for his girl? What was the most recent movie which did that?
oh my god.
Because
I don't
it was a
know.
thing of the past. Like 2000s எந்த படம் எடுத்தாலும் he hero
ஆமா
is
காதலுக்காக ஆமா ஆமா yeah.
but recently the
But that trend has been phasing out la. Like that is the thing.
yeah, but so
Love is sort of taken a backseat.
we'll think
ஆமா.
about it through the podcast. We'll come back to this later. But I'm really curious
Hmm.
to know the answer. Yeah.
Bhairava.
Yeah, but like do you
I think
guys
Bhairava had something
bro
like
Bro, but அது
that.
வந்து
Sorry.
more like plot driven tala. Like I mean, he was doing those things because he's Vijay on screen doing those things, right? Like the loosely connected recent plot thread is that okay, and the பொண்ணுக்காக. But like Karthik Subbaraj will really, get dive into the roots and give you
It'll be like
a great world with characters who are driven because of their character motivations, not because of meta motivations, right?
like
So that's why I'm
Gilly.
excited on a
Yeah,
higher level.
something like Gilly.
Yeah. Real quick before we move on to the next one, your guys' thoughts on retro? Anything you guys want to add?
JK Ninga Solar, I completely agree with what you're saying. I think there is, okay, this is my prediction more than anything else, right? I have a feeling there is a hidden sort of meta story within retro. And it's sort of a what if version of Dalapati.
Oh
See,
yeah, knowing how much of a KS
Dalapati,
fanboy, தலைவர் fanboy KS is, it's probably the
yeah,
case. Let's be clear.
exactly. And also, Karthik, when he said in Beta's audio launch that Talapati was the first film, Talavar film that he watched in the cinemas with his dad. அதுலயும் வந்து அவர் வந்து he went to the cinema, he slipped, he hurt his leg and everything. அப்பா சொன்னாரு இப்படிலாம் விடுவா தலைவர் entry miss ஆயிடும். So I have a feeling that Talapati as a film has really stayed in his mind and his heart in some sense. And as plot points go, kind of flipping the narrative of Talapati or that crux of the romance between Shobana and Rajini, which doesn't get fulfilled in that film. What if it did? What if? So in that sense, to me, the way those shots were staged, and a lot of comparisons have been made online already. I have a feeling this is what this film is going to aim for, and I think it's going to be amazing. And Mahan was a film that unfortunately got lost in the pandemic. It was relegated to an OTT release. It should have been a theatrical. It would have been Chia's
big, would have been much bigger, yeah.
hit.
Yeah,
exactly. I think this film retro Vande will kind of compensate for that, and in some ways what Vikram missed out, Surya will hopefully get. But yeah, really excited for retro. Great choice, by the way.
So எனக்கு வந்து retro. So there are two things, right? One is what is a movie, and the other thing is a theater watch. For me, Karthik Subbaraj movies are like proper theater watch material. Like get a proper seat in the theater, sit down, and let the big fonts on the screen like hit you on your face with like really red hues of cinematography that he usually uses.
Well said, bro. Well said. Yeah, 100%.
I want to be in that space, with the Karthik Subbaraj movie. He does movies in a very classic way, and I love that aspect of his filmmaking. And however, like, it's almost a guarantee for me that I will like this movie. Like, like aspects of the movie to take with me. So I'm like, Retro is gonna be a movie which is gonna stay with me for forever, however good or bad the movie is.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. So yeah, so those were our most expected movies for 2025. Now I have a question for both of you actually, and this might come, but I wanted your unfiltered opinions about it. So yeah, what movie are you not hyped for, but you secretly want to see do well at the box office for whatever reason? What movie are you not hyped of, but you want to see do well?
I mean,
Who wants to go
this
first?
is this is a hard question for this group because I am hyped for every single movie, honestly.
Which is fair. Okay, like then make it a relative thing. Like which movie do you want to do well? Yeah,
I
basically.
okay, I'll start with that. I have a very good answer for that. For me, I really want Good Bad Ugly to be good. I am really
Mm-hmm.
looking forward to seeing a different face of Ajit. So that will be my.
Yeah, 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 100%. Yeah, Siege, you?
You stole my movie, Dad. Nano good bad ugly. That's all on. And actually, it fits in very well with the question you asked, JK. See, let's be very honest,
Yeah,
right? I mean, me.
yeah.
I'll be honest. I have zero hopes from Adik. Right? His last few films. Okay, Mark Antony was an exception. Fine, it was good,
Mm.
very enjoyable. But
He's
Raj
only made
Yajaran,
like
S J
four.
Surya,
Yeah. Mm.
1 out of 4 is a 25% strike rate, which in my opinion is not that great. And considering that some of
Fair,
his other
fair.
films have been absolutely terrible, to put it
Panned. Yeah.
mildly. I mean,
Yep.
பகீரெல்லாம் அது வந்து எப்படி சொல்றது
அதுக்கு
acid
வந்துச்சுன்னே
அப்படியே வந்து
யாருக்குமே தெரியாது
காதுல
ப்ரோ. ப்ரோ அது
bro
வந்துச்சுன்னே
நான்
பாதி
வந்து
பேருக்கு தெரியாது.
I
அவருக்கே
tried
தெரியாது.
sitting through this. I tried sitting through it. I couldn't survive. Sorry.
What is
You
It was
can't, you
just
can't.
yeah.
huh?
What is yours,
Not
JK?
to be confused with the Kannada industry Bagheera, by the way. This is Adik's Bagheera.
This
Yeah.
is Prabhudev.
Yeah.
This is with Prabhudeva and God knows who else.
Yep.
Right? It was intolerable, and yeah.
All
So
right.
in that sense, firstly, it's a surprise that I mean, look, Ajit is not very discretionary with his directors. We all know it, but still going with Adik
Yep.
for such a big film was and by the way, it's a Telugu production company. Like the fact that they are willing to bankroll such a
Ama,
big
ama.
project that is already
Yeah.
surprising. So maybe they are onto something that we are missing. And maybe Mark Antony was a sign that he could do a film which is
Mm,
similarly goofy and maybe
mm.
okay, not a great film, but wildly entertaining. So
Yeah.
Good Bad Ugly. I'm not very optimistic, but I hope to God it does well because I think Ajit looks to be having a lot of fun going by the stills.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
when was the
yeah.
last time he didn't look
You saw
ludicrous on
Ajit having
screen?
fun.
And
Yeah, yeah, you
yeah,
saw him actually having fun, right? Like, and yeah, to touch upon what you said, see, like, I've always felt that Ajit's script sense is entirely based on his gut feel about the director. Like, he kind of, apparently, in my mind's eye, how I see it is, he sees how much conviction the director has about their own script, and based on that, that's how he says yes to a script. Like, for example, if you think about it, Siritai Siva is probably a great, salesman in the sense that he could pitch a script and make it sound like the best thing since sliced bread to any actor and they'll say yes. But if you take someone like a Vignesh Shivan, who's like, தெரியல, I mean, like, நான் போற போக்குல எழுதுவேன் சார். இப்போதைக்கு இதான் லூஸ் 3 ஆக்ட் ஸ்ட்ரக்சர் இதுதான். போற வழியில வில் ஃபிகர் இட் அவுட் வில் இம்ப்ரோவைஸ் எனக்கு அப்படிதான் ரைட்டிங் ஸ்டைல் சொன்னா he probably might not go for it and we all know how that got shelved. So yeah, like நீங்க சொன்ன மாதிரி குட் பேட் அக்லி மோர் தென் விடாமுயற்சி ஐ am hyped for. Mostly because it feels like a love letter to Ajit fans because Adik himself is like an Ajit fanboy, and we haven't had a nice fanboy Sambhavam from Ajit for quite a while. I mean, H. Vinod doesn't really do that. That's not his style of filmmaking. I mean, Siridai Siva, well, the lesser said, the better. And I don't know. I feel like Yenne Arindal was like GM's fanboy Sambhavam for Ajit in a very understated sense. So it's been like 10 years. I feel like we're overdue for that. And to touch upon a Dart Bros movie, which he mentioned, I am actually like he said, I'm hyped for all the movies, but in my own way, I'll just say I want Cooley to do well. I did probably will, but I wanted to do well in the critical sense as well. Because again, I feel like that then its success will be studied by like the industry pundits and all on how to make a good commercial movie, and it won't just be about slow motion shots and a slick screenplay and all that, right? We can have actual creative elements in it. So it's a movie I want to do well critically, so I don't know if that probably fits, but that's probably my
Yeah, but
answer off the top of my head. In this segment, we're gonna be discussing some movies that are currently the talk of the town and for very good reasons, and other ones that we think deserve the spotlight. So to kick things off, let's address the biggest magnum opus from the maestro himself, Mani Ratnam, Thug Life, which we've gotten quite a lot of material about, promo material and stuff to be hyped about in the recent
to
past.
yeah
So yeah,
to add on
yeah.
to the train of Rajni, Kamal, Vijay, Ajit, Sivakarthikeyan, I'm gonna add Shankar and Maniratnam are gonna have a movie at the same year. Rokesh Kadagaraj and
Oh
Karthik
yeah,
Subaraj
yeah,
are gonna have a movie at the
yeah.
same year. Nalan Kumarasamy is gonna have a movie at the same year.
We are eating well this year, my friends. We are eating well this year.
So
அப்படின்ற
Thug
ஒரு
Life, right?
இது.
Thug Life, if it came right after Chekka Savandavanam and before that, what was Aditi Karthi?
பொன்னியின் செல்வன்.
இல்ல அதித்தியும் கார்த்தி தான்.
காற்று வெளியிடை. காற்று
காற்று.
வெளியிடை.
ஸோ கடல், காற்று வெளியிடை, சிசிவிக்கு அப்புறம் தக் லைஃப் வந்திருந்துச்சுன்னா, ஆக்சுவலி மை எக்ஸ்பெக்டேஷன்ஸ் வுட் ஹேவ் பீன் லோ. பட் ஐ am a
ம்.
huge fan of Ponniyin Selvan. I really liked how the movie was made. It looked like proper cinema when I saw Ponniyin Selvan 2 in an IMAX screen.
Mhm.
And when I keep talking about how beautiful cinema is, Maniratnam showed that on screen consistently for like more
Yeah,
than 60%, 70% of the movie. That's all I ask from a movie. Like, there are flaws in every movie, but
captivate
giving me
me.
something so
Yeah,
beautiful on
basically.
screen for such a
Mm.
long time, and that is all mostly with that. That's what I'm satisfied with. So because Ponniyin Selvan எனக்கு அவ்வளவு பிடிச்சதுனால, I'm like really excited about Thug Life, and of course Kamala Hassan also, like how you spoke about Kamala Hassan coming back after Vikram. This is a new avatar
Yeah.
of him joining with a new avatar in
Mm.
Maniratnam. Add a new avatar in A.R. Rahman, who is just killing it right now.
Yeah, yeah.
So these guys are like, we are not done yet.
And
அப்படின்னு சொல்றதுக்கு, this is the movie. This is
ஆமா.
gonna be that
Let's
movie.
not forget Simbu. He literally
yeah, exactly.
reinvented himself just to be in this movie as well. Yeah. Atman
And the
STR
supporting
is there,
cast is
la?
solid. The supporting
Yeah,
cast is
yeah.
solid. They also have Ashok Selvan as well.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
That's true. Ama.
I think
And like, I feel like
I'm secretly
Thug
secretly
Life
becoming
ke,
an secretly becoming an Ashok Selvan fan. I'm like, I really want his movies to do well.
bro broke out into cinema at the wrong time because like around that same time you had a lot of competition to be the next. You had Natharva, you had like Vikram Prabhu and all trying to vie for the same spot. You had Sibiraj. So it kind of like got lost out in all that white noise. I mean, now Ipo the problem is you have a Kavin, you have so many people trying to break into this new space. But yeah, I'm coming to Thug Life. I feel that adding to what Dart Bro said, I feel like Thug Life is going to be. I mean, knock on wood that this does happen. I feel like it's going to be Tamil cinema's most prodigal attempt at saying, "I've arrived. This is the big leagues, and I'm here for the crown." Like because we see, like இப்போ ஒரு தெலுங்கு இண்டஸ்ட்ரியில ஒரு ராஜமௌலி இருக்காரு, ஒரு இப்போ மத்த இண்டஸ்ட்ரி மலையாள இண்டஸ்ட்ரி இந்த போடு போட்டுட்டு இருக்குன்னா தமிழ் சினிமால ஹூ பெட்டர் டு பி த ஃப்ரண்ட் ரன்னர் லீடிங் த சார்ஜ் அண்ட் மேக்கிங் அ வெரி transformative movie for many reasons than Maniratnam himself. It's almost poetic
With
if
Kamal
you think
Hassan,
about it.
Maniratnam and Kamal Hassan and A.R.
Yeah,
Rahman and A.R. Rahman. Like,
literally Vinveli Nayaga, like literally that is the thing. Like, yeah, and I'm not even bothered about the collections, but like if this thing just makes people sit up and think, oh wow, Tamil cinema is here to play. It's not pulling its punches anymore. So யோசிக்க வச்சாலே அது எனக்கு ஒரு win தான். And it will. I'm confident it will because like Cease Bro said, stellar star cast. And obviously, Maniratnam doesn't miss in terms of characterization and nuances in storytelling. The cinematography is obviously, as we saw in the trailer, it's fire. And can we just talk about real quick how Bro used de-aging in his movie and didn't have to make a gimmick out of it? Like it's just there. You can just see a younger Kamal. But yeah, I mean, this is Maniratnam. Of course, you know I was gonna, bring my A game there. It's like such a stylish thing, and it's just there for like a blink and miss thing in the trailer itself. Like,
Maniratnam is like, I want to do this, so I did this. That's all. This my movie required that.
எனக்கு என்ன see செக்கச்சேம்பந்த வானம் வந்து it was it's a very polarizing film. I for one really enjoyed that film because to me it's a very what if version of The Godfather. As in, what if Vito
yeah,
Corleone's attempted assassination was led by one of his sons, right? And then
yeah,
Maniratnam just ran with it like crazy. Now, even if
mm,
he brings that level of energy with Kamal, with this extended star cast, with A.R. Rahman bringing his A game, and the technical bits in just the bits and pieces we've seen, and the teaser, just that, and the model teaser, he's
ama,
shown he's the OG, right? எனக்கு அந்த செக்கச்சி வந்து வானம் லெவல் பிளாட் கொடுத்தாரு. I think that is going to be more than enough with all the other elements playing in. I think we'll have a massive winner on our hands.
100%. Yeah, for sure.
I've
So yeah,
always
and
felt,
especially
I've always
shout out to A.R. Rahman's score.
yeah,
Yeah,
that is a
for sure.
guarantee. That's a, like that. That is a guarantee.
Yeah, yeah. He never misses these days. Yeah, he's on
No,
fire.
especially with Maniratnam.
Hot streak.
Especially with Maniratnam.
Never. Yeah,
Never.
yeah. Never misses. Yeah. So yeah, that was Thug Life. And other than that, we have all eyes on Sivakarthikeyan as he collaborates with A.R. Murugadoss for his next movie. We don't have, at the time of recording, we don't have a lot of updates about this, but it does seem to be shaping up to be a return to form for A.R. Murugadoss and another, feather in SK's cap. So, yeah, real quick, what are your expectations on that one, guys? Start,
Yeah,
bro.
so நான் சொன்னல ஒரு பெரிய ட்ரெயின் சொன்னேன் ஆக்டர்ஸும் டைரக்டர்ஸும் அதுல முருகதாஸையும் சேர்த்துக்கணும் ஆக்சுவலா
Ah,
and of course Murugadas companion. Actually, I mean, I'm just gonna quickly mention that Murugadas companions from the 2000s, Gautam Vasudevanan with Dhruva Chitram and
mm,
Sivaraghavan
mm,
with the G.V. Prakash movie. So
mm.
every big director is actually having a movie this year. So, but yeah, Murugadas I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
still has that game. He maybe he just
Mm,
needed some time off, and I think he has had his time off. I think he had a podcast with Bharatwaj Rangan, or like he was very like தெளிவா பேசிட்டு இருந்தான். He knew what went wrong with his previous movies, and
mm, mm,
he showed that he was willing to work towards it. So, and Sivakarthikeyan of course is coming out of a big high, and
mm.
Sivakarthikeyan and Anirudh are gonna combine after a long time. So yeah, I'm
That combo never misses either. Like
exactly.
even in a movie like Dawn, the songs were pretty good. Yeah, so I can't complain there. Yeah, true. Siege, bro, your thoughts?
I'm cautiously optimistic. Is all I can
Mm-hmm.
say for this film. The way I see
Right.
it, this year is going to make or break A.R. Murugadoss because he has this film and he also has Sikandar with Salman Khan. To be very honest, that
Right.
doesn't look very good. That doesn't look very good
I
going
don't
into
have
the
a lot of
future.
faith in Salman Khan to begin with, but that's a topic for a
Yeah.
different podcast. So yeah.
So in some
Yeah.
sense, right, he really needs to deliver on at least one of these two films if he needs to continue thriving. Escape coming off a hot streak. I have a feeling that he's quite discretionary with the projects that he chooses. He's always been a bit careful about that, and I think post Amaran as well. I think he's going to be extra
Yeah.
careful with this. So yeah, I think
Yep.
cautiously optimistic. I have a feeling that again, see, I'm not expecting a Tupaki or a Katisi. Vanda nalla dhaan irukum.
And for me, just to round things off, I feel like yeah, SK is finally in the stride of, okay, of balancing that thing where okay, this is commercial success and this is what my audience wants and this is what content driven cinema is. He's hit that pulse bang on with Maviran, with Amaran, and now I have faith that, A.R. Murugadoss, let's be very real, when he hits, he really hits. Like, I mean, Katti basically defined that entire stretch of Tamil movies talking about corporate oppression and like even to a fault farmer struggles and all that, right? Like that has been adichu thovachachu by this point. So yeah, he's really, history will remember him kindly either way, especially, with his movies like Gajini and all that. But yeah, I just feel like bro needed to sit and think and, go back to the drawing board and think about what the essentials of his storytelling are. And I think he's come up with a good one this time, especially, with SK script sense, if we're taking that into account. So yeah, I'm hyped about that, but we'll see about what news we get about that in the coming days.
Yeah.
So yeah, and another one I wanted to touch upon real quick, if it's okay with you guys, is this year we'll see, Dhanush's extended innings as a director. Like we have two of his movies coming up, Idli Kada and Nilavukku Enmele Nadi Kobam. So real quick, I want, especially now that Ryan did what it did at the box office and did what it did with the critics, how do you feel about Dhanush the director going into 2025?
I
Thoughts?
yeah,
That bro?
I feel he's kind of becoming the handle it all kind of guy. I'm really happy that see Dhanush is at his peak, at his creative peak right now, and
Yep.
he's using all his time to really work. He work really hard, and that
Yeah.
is keeping me really happy. Like his work ethic at this point is like unmatched. I don't think he even sleeps
Yeah.
these days. Like he's so busy for the right in the right
Yep.
ways, mostly, at least mostly, so from a film point of view, I really like Power Pandi. Ryan was a
Hmm.
little bit here and there, even though I saw a lot of scope
Yeah, we
for a
discussed
good
this.
movie in there.
Yeah.
So because of that, I
Yeah.
feel Dhanush is very talented as a director, and I am kind of excited about both these movies.
For a person who's not really trained in direction, that's not his forte to begin with, right? If you look at the
Mm-hmm.
finesse that she directed Ryan, quality of the story or narration aside, that didn't really work well for me. Purely from a technical
Hmm.
standpoint, damn, that was a very strong film. I mean, you can't expect this from most like untrained directors. So and bits and pieces of what we've seen so far with Meek and I mean, okay, Golden Spider, someone has directed it, but then I'm sure he had a lot of creative input as well. It's very polished what he puts out. So
Yeah.
I have a feeling
That's
that
true.
where he needs to kind of focus on is collaborating a bit more with stronger writers to just tighten that screenplay a bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ryan also had
See,
a good idea, it's just
movies
that the
ideas are good.
direction after a point is
Yeah.
falling
Yeah.
flat big time.
True. True.
So yeah, I think more than Neek, right? I'm more interested in Idli Kadai. That seems like an interesting project, and
Hmm.
maybe more in the Power Pandi type zone, which probably is what
Hmm.
he's strongest at. I think, in my opinion, Neek we'll see. I mean, I have a feeling that it'll do well, but maybe it might not work for me. Just going by the rushes that I've seen so far. Admittedly, just those
Mm-hmm.
two songs
Mm-hmm.
that they put out, to be fair, but still, as a film, maybe I'm just not in the right demographic for that.
I've been looping a little too much on Kadal Fail for the last 1 month.
Kadal see, like I was going to talk about that. Like, I mean, I don't know, maybe because it's so evocative of Raja's Asai Nuruvagai's riffs. Maybe it scratches that itch in me for those kind of retro love vintage songs, but it is such an underrated banger. I
Seriously,
and like
seriously.
but again to touch upon Dhanush's directorial innings, I like Bro said, I'm more hyped for Idli Kadai than I am for Neek, even though the songs are shaping up very well. And I don't know if you've guys some notice, but if GV Prakash is making the music for the movie, you can usually tell how good the movie will be based on how good the songs are. Because GV Prakash really seems to be, as a composer, he really seems to want to really get to know the story so that he can make music and goated BGM and songs for that movie. Like if you think about any of his GV Prakash's greatest hits, they're also from great movies, which
Yeah,
can't even be said for someone like Anirudh.
yeah.
Right? Like Asuran, he literally won for it. And Amaran, even more recently, Lucky Bhaskar 2 on a certain scale, and Madrasa Patnam, so many iconic
Adikalam,
songs. Deva Tirumagal,
Adikalam.
yeah, like Polladavan even. Like he just doesn't miss when the director knows what he wants and can get that output from him and has that conviction. He never misses. So I'm kind of hyped, for that reason for Neek, but not hyped in a sense that like okay, this is gonna
Yeah,
be pathbreaking or anything.
I,
But
yeah.
I'm interested. We'll see. I have a basic level interest. Idli Kada seems more in Dhanush's comfort zone, like Bro said. And yeah, I did like Power Pandy. Ryan, me and like we discussed in a previous podcast, it didn't really work for me. It was a technically brilliant film, like I said, but yeah, somehow it felt very contrived towards the end. Like things were just sort of plodding on towards the end, just because that's how these stories usually go under ஒரு weak reasoning வச்சு அவங்க எடுத்துட்டு இருந்தாங்க.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah,
but
going.
yeah,
I'm just
hopefully yeah,
going on a tangent
yeah.
from just what you were talking about. So JV Prakash Kumar,
Mm-hmm,
there is a JV
mm-hmm.
Prakash Kumar movie which is coming this year, which I'm really excited about. I kind of lost a little bit. Like I felt Selvaraghan is not gonna direct anything after the movie he did with Dhanush. Like people, like he was getting
நானே
back
வருவேன்.
a lot,
Yeah.
but him announcing another project made me so happy. Like I don't care
Yeah.
how big the movie is, how great the movie is. I love Selvaraghan's movie. It is so intense. It really grips
Mm.
you. Like even though in even that Dhanush movie, I think until the last bit of the movie, it was running so
நானே
well.
வருவேன். Yeah.
It was so gripping that
Yeah.
like we need இது மாதிரி director வேணும்ல. எல்லா director ஒரே மாதிரி படம் எடுத்தா அப்புறம் what is the purpose of
Mm.
this industry? Selvaraghan
கண்டிப்பா.
movies are Selvaraghan movies, so I'm kind of like excited for that movie too. Hopefully GV gives good
ஆமா.
music, which might mean the movie is good.
Yeah, yeah, fair. And speaking of which, are there any other movies that you guys are hyped for? Real quick, we can so that we can roll them out. Siege bro, any movie in particular that you're looking forward to this year?
Can I say something that is not in Tamil but outside,
Yeah, fair.
or do we
Why
stick to
not?
only core? Or since
No, I mean we're
okay,
doing the podcast in
I'm
English, so I mean, yeah,
you might
so
as well, right?
fair enough.
Okay, so
Yeah, of course.
I'm gonna go for a slightly cliched answer, but I'm really looking forward to watching Fantastic Four. After watching it
Uh-huh.
for 3 times, I'm really intrigued to see whether they pull it off the fourth
This
time.
time.
Whether the fourth
Yeah,
time,
yeah.
exactly, fourth
Fourth
time
time
is the
is the
charm,
charm.
right?
Yeah,
So
that's
I'm
true. Yeah.
really interested in seeing that, and for the guys who are interested in Marvel and stuff, they have Galactus and everything, all in the first
Mm.
film, and they're going for this retro futuristic vibe, which is a as a genre is not
Which is
very heavily touched upon
interesting.
in most industries.
Hmm. Hmm.
Exactly. So I'm kind of
Hmm.
intrigued with that by that. So yeah,
Dart bro, how about you? You mentioned the Nalan
Yeah.
Kumarasamy film,
So
right? Like
yeah,
Vava
for
Tyare.
me, Vava Diare is one of my like I know that is something that I don't know if that's a really theater moment movie for me, but these are kind of movies which will stay with me for a very long time, like how Sudhakavam and
That's true for, yeah.
Kalalam.
Nalan Kumarasamy has such an underrated filmography. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
so he's the only director in my letterbox account who has 100% 5-star rating. Only director.
Yeah.
I mean, two movies is a very small sample size, but still, it is still very significant.
But like Siege bro put it in that analogy, that is an excellent strike rate. So yeah, he just doesn't miss. So yeah.
So yeah, and Karthi, you can always trust him to with the
Hmm.
choice
Hmm.
of script, and of course the
Yeah, yeah.
first promo தெரிஞ்சு போச்சு. Santosh Narayan is having so much fun. Nalan is having so much fun.
He
Karthi is having
does.
so much fun. There's
Yeah.
going to be a fun movie which is waiting for us. Like comedies have become so rare. It is so rare these days.
Yeah.
So at
Yeah.
least like there is one guy who is trying to who's holding the flag up still. I mean, other than Sundar C, of course.
And I'm a fan of Nalan's style of comedy as well. Like it isn't a very in your face slapstick
Yeah,
kind of comedy, but it's just there. Like it feels like an everyday conversation, like when we talk to people around us and we just sort of quip with movie references, right? Like, okay. It feels like that, and that's what I feel makes it so successful.
great.
It's such a slice of life thing to watch his movies, right? Like
Yeah,
they just feel like, I mean, Kadalam Kadadu Pogum just feels like a warm hug, especially towards the end.
exactly.
You know, it reaches out to everyone.
They explain
I
that
mean,
really well in the movie. They talk about the warm hug. Let me bring the movies which we haven't
yeah,
talked about quickly. So one is
yeah,
Veera Dhira Sura Part Two. So
yeah, Vikram. Yeah.
yeah, that is one of
Mm.
the big movies coming out this year. Maybe Ram's El
Mm-hmm.
Kadal Elmalai will come out, and of course
Mm.
there is a guy who's in really good form with Mari Selvaraj. So Bison is coming out.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, that's true.
Tani 112, I don't know what is the state of the project right now. It kind of got lost, right?
Yeah, I don't think that's
Yeah,
happening this year.
it won't happen this year. I mean, especially considering how tall of an order they have to live up to. So yeah, they'll probably take their time. For sure. This year is already a very packed year. I mean, all things considered. So they might not even want to target this year. They might as well just do themselves a favor and take time on the script and work on it and then
Yeah.
yeah,
And
release it
of
later.
course, one of the other legends, Vishnuvardhan, has a Nesipaya coming out. So
I
yeah,
miss Vishnuvardhan in Tamil cinema. I'm not gonna lie.
and we missed some UN albums because of that.
Yeah, yeah. And Yuvan does his best work with those directors, right? Like he has his comfortable directors where with whom he gives his best
Very true.
output. So yeah, yeah, that's the thing.
So yeah, that's
Yeah, so other than this, I think we rounded it all up pretty well in terms of releases this year. I mean, it might change. As of the time of recording, these are the ones that you will probably be hearing about in the zeitgeist. But yeah, hopefully Tamil cinema has a few surprises for us in store. And yeah, to sum up, I'd actually like to end with a question to both of you guys. So yeah, this year, what is one thing you hope you see more of in Tamil cinema and one thing you see less of?
okay. Good question.
Yeah, one thing for each. Yeah,
I think I'm ready with my answer. So one thing I want to
go
see
on.
less
Yeah.
of, I'll start. I want to see less of blood, violence, gore,
Mm-hmm.
evoking sentiments by killing weaker. I mean, not weaker. Weaker characters in the movie, or kids or women. I'm not saying kids or women are weak, but they are stronger than us. I've been learning that. That's what I learned in the last month of 2024. That how strong women are, and I met so many of them. But yeah, I really hope they don't do stuff like that. And the one good thing that I'm looking forward to in 2025, I mean, good together. I hope it comes back is, of course, like I said, comedy. I hope movies bring back a good. There's like elements of comedy here and there, slice of life aspects of the movie, uh, which I can just watch, like something like Mayor again. I can just play it on my TV and just be there and be happy instead of like, get like let my mind go through thousand emotions sometimes. Laughing is okay, but anything else,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Siege bro, how about you?
What I want to see more of, and I think we touched upon it very lightly in the beginning, right? So if you look at all the big star vehicles this year, they're not regular masala films. They're all a bit left field
Mm,
in terms of what they're trying to achieve. I really hope they live up to that expectation and they don't just degenerate into typical mindless masala at some point, and they kind of stay true to the genre that they are targeting, and give us a good time at the cinemas, because and that they are successful, because if all these boxes are ticked, right, I think you will see that the next set of films that you get in 2026 will also follow a very similar template, and that I think is healthy for Tamil cinema, because this is the only industry where we can really mix, for lack of a better word, class and mass together. We don't really have a parallel
yeah,
movement like other industries. So we can really go big with content driven films in terms of scale and still make it a viable business. But for that, these films in 25 need to do well. What I want to
right.
see less of, is I really, and again, we talked about it very lightly in the beginning. I think there's just too much of over analyzing and decoding that's going on. And I think good or bad, we're also kind of guilty of that. But somehow, people's judgment of a film is just being driven purely by the decoding ecosystem, right? I just hope people
Mm,
watch a movie and experience the film. At the end of the day, movies are a piece of or a work of art, right? And they don't necessarily need to speak to you the way it speaks to, say, me or to anyone else, right? It's a very personal
yeah,
experience in some sense, and I hope we kind of lean in a bit more to that experiential side,
yeah,
because I think the more we do that, I think you'll realize that a lot of the films I love are not actually that bad; they're actually good fun, right? And I think this just
mm-hmm.
makes us better human beings in some weird ways if we kind of let go of this cold clinical analysis that we do,
Yeah,
right? And I think we're
mm,
trying to move away from that as well in our podcast. We're talking a lot about our personal feelings and everything, rather than
mm.
focusing on the mechanics of filmmaking. I hope the average audience also continues to do that, and stop obsessing over box office figures. For the love of God, stop discussing when will we get
Yes.
our thousand crore
Yeah, yeah,
thousand crore
yeah.
film.
நீங்க ரெண்டு பேரும்
It,
ஆசைப்படலாம்.
unless you are
நீங்க ஆசைப்படலாம், ரெண்டு பேரும் பேராசைப்படுறீங்க.
பேராசைப்படணும் பேராசைப்பட நான் ஒண்ணு மட்டும் தான் சொல்றேன்.
நான்
Unless
அததான்ப்பா
you
சொல்ல வந்தேன். சரி, ஓகே, சொல்லுங்க.
unless you actually have a stake in a film, like monetary stake, where அந்த 1,000 crores உங்களுக்கு 1 கோடி வர மாதிரி இருந்ததுன்னா, please dream all day long. I have no problems, right? But if you don't have
Yeah,
any skin in the game and you're in fact just going to pay money to watch the film and contribute to the producer's coffers, just don't bother, right? You're not going to see anything in the
yeah,
end.
yeah.
So either the breaking your head over it, and which is the bigger box office hit, it's
Wasted.
just a very tired waste of time, money, and energy. ஏன் மணி சொல்ல தெரியுமா?
Hmm.
பிகாஸ் இது பண்ணறதுக்கு you also need geo data. அதனால தான் சொன்னேன்.
Yep,
On
yep,
on that note,
yeah.
see, since you are telling that, I have a quick question for you. Do you think Kohli will collect more than T69?
Yeah, bro.
Oh, there's a
Yeah.
question. There's a question. See, I feel like just because Lokesh is location, H Vinod is H Vinod, it will collect more.
Bro, that was a
Yeah, because
question. That was
Lokesh
a
is a
question
bigger
which
brand.
shouldn't be answered, bro. That,
It's
that
a
was very
sarcastic,
rhetorical.
bro. அது sarcastic attempt அது, பட் ஜேகே ரொம்ப சீரியஸா எடுத்துட்டாரு.
இல்ல தல, எனக்கு நம்ம சப்ரெடிட்ல பார்த்து பார்த்து மாடரேட் பண்ணி பண்ணி இதெல்லாம் வாடா பேசிட்டு இருப்பீங்கன்ற மாதிரி ஆயிப்போச்சு. ஆமா, அந்த ஒரு
So,
ரிஃப்ளெக்ஸ்ல சொல்லிட்டேன்.
so JK, what about you? What are you expecting from this year?
You guys actually touched upon a lot of those points, and so I'm gonna kind of like try and add my own perspective to it. What I'd like to see more of in Tamil cinema is, building upon what Dart said, genre diversity. I'd like to see. Like, I want to see Tamil cinema not necessarily break the mold or try to, reinvent the wheel in terms of how these stories are told, but I just want to see Tamil cinema try something different. Like, we already got glimpses of what is possible when stuff like that is attempted, like with Manade and even like Vetrimaran's Vada Chennai and movies like that. We've always gotten glimpses of that over the past years. I just like to see a lot more of it consistently. And, even if, and this kind of ties into what I want to see less of, I want to see these attempts being made with the industry being able to support them, and that directly segues into what I want to see less of, because for the industry to be able to support them, it shouldn't be fettered by, like Siege Bro said, it shouldn't be fettered by box office dictats and like online fan wars and like all this PR stuff and all. No, that I want to see less of that, because that directly indirect, one way or another, it kind of gets in the way of good content making it onto the screens. There's already enough things that producers have to take into account when they release a film. It shouldn't really create another barrier for them that they have to consider unrealistic expectations about, like, will my movie make 1,000 crores before I've even, this discussion starts even when they do the puja for the film. So like, that is just unnecessary pressure, and it kind of impacts the content quality as well, right? And I'd also want to see less of comparison of Tamil cinema to other industries. I'm not saying this is an active problem, but if you think about it, Tamil cinema in terms of South Indian cinema is like the middle child of the four, because it has, it's known for giving content driven movies like, Malayalam cinema, though maybe not on the same consistency. And it's also known for being a commercial powerhouse, though not on the same level of Tamil cinema, I mean, Telugu cinema. So, yeah, when you have this perfect blend, you should kind of, like the average Tamil cinema enjoyer's viewpoint, I feel ideally should be, how can Tamil cinema thrive in its own lane? Like, what would be the point of, see, because there the culture is different. I mean, I think most of you would agree that Telugu in the Telugu belt, cinema is more of a religion than it ever is in Tamil cinema. I mean, Tamil cinema is pretty close, but they're on a different level if you think about it. And Malayalam cinema, I feel the way that their business model has always been from the start, and with how close knit the industry seems to be, that's the driving force behind how they're able to produce so many content driven films, because that's been ingrained in the audience's mindset as well. So, yeah, I'd like to see less comparison. And like another thing I'd like to do, அது பேன் இண்டியாவா ஹிட் ஆச்சா இல்லையான்றத பத்தி நம்ம பெருசா யோசிக்க வேணாம். ஐ மீன் இப்போ பேன் இண்டியான்றதே ஒரு இட்ஸ் ஜஸ்ட் பிகம் அ ட்ரெண்ட். பீப்புள் டூ இட் ஜஸ்ட் பிகாஸ் தட்ஸ் வாட் எவ்ரி ஒன் இஸ் டூ. பட் லைக் யா தமிழ் சினிமா தமிழ்நாட்டுல நல்லா பண்ணாலே அதே ஒரு சைன் ஆஃப் சக்சஸ் தானே. பேன் இண்டியா சக்சஸ் இஸ் ஜஸ்ட் அ போனஸ் செரி ஆன் டாப் ஆஃப் த கேக். ஸோ யா அதை போட்டு வந்து பெருசா போட்டு புரட்டிட்டு இருக்க வேணான்றதுதான் என்னோட இது நினைப்பு. பட் yeah, hopefully all this comes to fruition in the coming year, and 2025 turns out to be a spectacular year for Tamil cinema, and we all have a lot of fun with the movies.
Before
So yeah, I think
yeah, before we close,
yeah, go
very
on.
very very quick question. Just give me one
Yeah,
line.
sure.
What if you have
Yeah,
already
yeah.
seen a movie in 2025? What was your first movie in 2025 for both of you? If you have already seen it, if you have not seen it, what is it gonna be?
I haven't actually.
What,
Not in 2025. Very close, but not in 2025.
Siege?
Nothing yet, but I think I might be watching Marco tomorrow.
I haven't seen a movie either till now, but after this conversation, after we just finished talking, I think my remote is gonna go and play Mahan after this. I just want to see a Karthik Subraj movie right now.
Yay! Great choice. So yeah, guys, that was our 2025 anticipation roundtable on the r/Kollywood podcast. Like if you're watching this on YouTube, probably drop a comment on what you think will win big at in terms of content in Tamil cinema 2025. Share your most expected movies. Yeah, and yeah, just share your feedback on what you expect for Tamil cinema in 2025. If you've stuck around till now, thanks for listening. You guys are great. Hope you have a great year ahead, and we will catch you in the next one. Peace.